Welcome to Monk's Moon Temple. Let yourself arrive here completely. Feel the weight of your body against whatever is holding you. Notice the rise and fall of your breath, simple and automatic, happening without any effort on your part. You have carried so much today. Responsibilities, decisions, interactions. And beneath all of that, perhaps you have been carrying something else. Something heavier. A memory that keeps replaying. A voice that keeps speaking in your mind. A face that appears when you least expect it, bringing with it a familiar heat in your chest. Someone hurt you. Maybe it was recent, the wound still fresh. Maybe it was years ago, but the scar tissue still aches. They were wrong. You were right. Anyone would feel the same anger, the same bitterness. Your anger feels like a shield, like the only thing protecting you from being hurt that way again. But here is what is actually happening inside you right now. That shield you are holding weighs nothing to them. They are not standing behind it with you. They are not feeling its weight. They are likely sleeping peacefully, living their life, rarely thinking about what they did. The only person carrying that shield is you. And it is exhausting you. It is stealing the softness from your moments of joy. It is poisoning your quiet evenings. It is making you tense and guarded when their name is mentioned. The anger you thought was protecting you has become the cage you are sitting in. And tonight, we are going to find the key. More than 2,500 years ago, a man named Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. He taught that the mind is the source of both our chains and our liberation. What we choose to focus on, what we choose to hold, what we choose to believe, this determines whether we live in peace or in torment. One of his foremost disciples was a man named Sariputta, renowned for his penetrating wisdom. Sariputta encountered countless people carrying the exact burden you are carrying tonight. People who had been betrayed, abandoned, abused. People whose anger was not just understandable but felt absolutely necessary. And Sariputta offered them 5 distinct ways to transform that anger. Not by pretending it didn't happen. Not by forcing forgiveness. Not by becoming doormats. But by shifting where they placed their attention. By seeing their situation through a different lens. By recognizing that the key to their prison was in their own hand all along. If this journey speaks to you, take a moment to subscribe to Monk's Moon Temple. This is a community of people walking this path together. Now, let us begin the first story. In a time long ago, there lived a stonecutter. Every day, he walked up the side of a great mountain and chiseled blocks free with simple tools. Some days, his chisel would hit a seam of harder rock and shatter. Other days, a block he had worked on for hours would crack in the wrong place. He would come home with bleeding hands and a heavy heart, cursing the mountain under his breath. One evening, a traveling merchant passed through and saw the stonecutter staring at the mountain with open hostility. The merchant asked what troubled him. "This mountain," the stonecutter spat. "It resists me. It breaks my tools. It gives me nothing but pain. I hate it." The merchant smiled gently. "I have traveled across many lands," he said. "And I have learned that a mountain does not resist. It simply is. The rock is hard because that is its nature. It is not personal. Your anger is not making the mountain softer. It is only making your hands bleed faster. This is the first teaching. It is about recognizing when your anger is directed at something that is simply being what it is. Not excusing harmful behavior, but understanding that some people's actions are not a personal attack on you. They are a reflection of their own nature, their own conditioning, their own unhealed wounds. When you take their behavior personally, you are like the stonecutter shaking his fist at the mountain, expecting it to apologize for being hard. Think about someone in your life whose behavior consistently causes you pain. Perhaps they are critical, dismissive, or unreliable. Your mind tells you they do this because they don't value you. But what if their behavior has very little to do with you at all? What if they are simply acting out patterns they learned decades before you ever met them? What if their criticism is the only way they know how to communicate? This is not to excuse them. It is to stop exhausting yourself by taking their behavior as a personal verdict on your worth. The mountain is hard. That is its nature. You can keep hitting it with your chisel and cursing its hardness. Or you can accept the reality of what it is and work with it differently. You can find the seams that are softer. You can use better tools. You can decide that this particular mountain is not worth quarrying and walk to a different one. But the one thing that will never work is standing there, day after day, furious that the mountain is not what you want it to be. The stonecutter had a choice. He could continue his daily battle, returning home each night bruised and bitter. Or he could accept the mountain's nature and adjust his approach. He could learn to read the rock, to see where it would yield and where it would resist. He could focus his energy on the blocks that were willing to be freed. This is your practice with the people who hurt you. Start by noticing when you are treating their unchangeable nature as a personal insult. When their criticism lands, pause and ask yourself, is this about me, or is this about them? Is this a deliberate attack, or is it simply their mountain speaking? If it is their mountain, you have a choice. You can take what is useful from their words, if anything, and leave the rest. You can stop expecting them to be soft when they are made of rock. You can decide how much time you spend quarrying in that particular place. The freedom here is enormous. When you stop taking things personally, the anger that was burning you begins to cool. Not because the behavior stopped, but because you stopped interpreting it as a reflection of your worth. The mountain remains hard. But you are no longer bleeding on it. Let us move now to a second kind of hurt. This one is different from the first. In this situation, the person's actions toward you are mostly good. They show up when you need them. They help without being asked. Their deeds demonstrate care. But their words wound you. They are harsh, critical, dismissive. They say things that cut deep, that make you feel small, that leave you wondering if they even like you. You are left confused. How can someone who does so much for you speak to you so poorly? Your mind wants to resolve the contradiction by focusing on the wounds. The harsh words sting more than the kind actions soothe. You replay what they said, not what they did. And slowly, you begin to believe that their actions must be fake, that the real them is the one speaking cruelly. Imagine a woman living in a dry land where water is scarce. Every day, she walks to a deep well to draw water for her family. The well has an old rope, frayed and rough. Every time she pulls up the bucket, the rope scrapes her hands, leaving them raw and bleeding. She curses the rope. She thinks about it constantly. She tells everyone about this terrible rope that hurts her every single day. But she forgets about the water. She forgets that without that rope, there would be no water. The rope is rough, yes. It causes her pain. But it is also the only thing connecting her to the life-giving water beneath the ground. If she focuses only on the rope, she misses the entire purpose of her journey. This is the second teaching. It is about learning to distinguish between the rope and the water. The rope is the harsh delivery, the clumsy words, the rough communication style. The water is the consistent care, the reliable support, the actions that nourish your life. Think about a parent who never learned to say "I love you." Instead, they show love by fixing your car, by sending you money when you are struggling, by showing up to every important event even if they sit in the back and say nothing. Their words might be critical. They might say things like, "Why would you do that?" Or "That was a mistake." The rope is rough. It hurts to hear those things. But the water is real. They are there. They show up. They provide. They demonstrate care through action, even if they cannot express it through speech. Or consider a partner whose love language is acts of service. They keep the household running. They remember the things you forget. They solve problems before you even know they exist. But when they are stressed, their words become sharp. They snap at you. They say things they later regret. The rope scrapes your hands. And in that moment, it is easy to forget the well of water beneath. The practice here is not to pretend the rope does not hurt. It does. Your hands are raw, and that pain is real. The practice is to remember why you came to the well in the first place. You came for water. You need water to live. If you focus only on the rope, you will walk away thirsty. You will cut yourself off from the very thing that sustains you. This does not mean you accept abuse. It does not mean you stay silent about the rough rope. You can tend to your hands. You can wrap the rope with cloth to make it smoother. You can, over time and with gentle communication, teach the person that their words wound you. But while you are doing that work, you can also drink the water. You can receive the care that is being offered, even through imperfect delivery. The Buddha taught that we suffer when we cling to one aspect of reality while ignoring others. The person who hurts you with words but helps you with actions is a complex reality. Both things are true. The rope is rough. The water is life-giving. Your freedom lies in holding both truths without letting either one cancel out the other. When they say something harsh, pause. Feel the sting. Acknowledge it. Then deliberately shift your attention to their actions. Ask yourself, what have they done for me lately? How have they shown up? Is their care real, even if their words are clumsy? If the answer is yes, you can choose to respond to the water, not the rope. You can say, "I hear your frustration. And thank you for being here." You are acknowledging both realities while choosing where to place your focus. Over time, this practice changes something fundamental. The harsh words lose their power to devastate you because you are no longer interpreting them as the whole truth. They are just the rope. Unpleasant, yes. But not the reason you came to the well. You came for water. And the water is still there, clear and cool, waiting for you to drink. Now we arrive at a third kind of hurt. This one is perhaps the most confusing of all. This is the person who has caused you deep and lasting pain. Their pattern is one of harm. Their actions have been cruel, their words cutting, their presence in your life a source of ongoing suffering. You have every reason to write them off completely. Your anger at them is not just justified, it feels like the only sane response to what they have done. But then something happens. One moment. One small crack in the wall of their unkindness. They say something that sounds genuine. They do something that seems almost tender. They show a flicker of the humanity you thought was entirely absent from their being. And you are thrown into confusion. What do you do with this? Does this one moment change everything? Does it mean you were wrong about them? Or is it a trick, a manipulation, something to be dismissed and distrusted? Imagine a farmer who owns a vast piece of land. For years, this land has produced nothing. The soil is dry and cracked. Weeds grow thick and tall. The farmer has tried everything, but the land remains barren. He has given up on it. He tells everyone that this land is dead, worthless, beyond hope. One day, while walking across this dead land, he notices something small and green pushing up through a crack in the dry soil. It is a single sprout. A tiny seedling, struggling to reach the sun. The farmer kneels down and looks at it closely. It is real. It is alive. It is growing in the middle of his dead field. What does he do with this? Does he ignore it because the rest of the land is barren? Does he pull it out because it doesn't belong there? Does he let it change his entire opinion of the land, pretending the weeds and dryness never existed? This is the third teaching. It is about what to do with the single seed of goodness in a field of harm. When someone who has mostly hurt you shows one genuine moment of kindness, you are faced with a choice. Your anger wants you to reject it entirely. It tells you that accepting this moment means betraying your pain, minimizing what they did, letting them off the hook. But the Buddha's wisdom offers a different path. You can acknowledge the seed without declaring the whole field fertile. You can see the tiny sprout without pretending the weeds are gone. This one moment of genuine kindness does not erase the years of harm. It does not mean they have changed. It does not obligate you to trust them or let them back into your life. It simply means that in that one moment, something real existed. Think about someone who betrayed you deeply. A friend who spread lies about you. A partner who was unfaithful. A family member who abused your trust. In the aftermath of such pain, your mind wants to paint them as entirely evil. It feels safer that way. Monsters are easier to hate than complicated, flawed humans. But then a memory surfaces. Something small. The time they stayed up all night with you when you were sick. The genuine compliment they gave you once that still matters. The look of real sorrow on their face when they heard about your loss. These are seeds in a barren field. They do not make the field fertile. But they are real. The practice is to let these seeds exist without letting them redefine your entire relationship. You can hold two truths at once. They caused me profound harm. And in this one moment, they showed genuine care. Both are true. Neither cancels the other. This is not about forgiveness. It is not about reconciliation. It is about allowing reality to be complex. When you demonize someone completely, you create a monster in your mind that haunts you. That monster has no redeeming qualities, so your hatred for them can grow without limit. But when you allow the tiny seed of their humanity to exist alongside their cruelty, something shifts. The monster becomes a person. A deeply flawed, damaged person who also, in one moment, showed something real. And somehow, that is more bearable. Your anger at a monster is endless. Your anger at a broken human being can coexist with a strange, distant pity. The seed does not heal the field, but it changes how you see it. The land is still barren. You are not going to farm there again. But you can acknowledge that life, in one small form, once appeared. And in that acknowledgement, your hatred loses some of its fuel. The farmer in our story can kneel, look at the tiny sprout, and appreciate its existence. He can marvel that life found a way in such a dead place. And then he can stand up, walk away, and leave the barren field behind forever. He takes nothing from it but the memory that even in deadness, life once stirred. And that memory softens something in his heart. This is your freedom with this third kind of hurt. See the seed. Acknowledge it. And then continue your journey away from the field, carrying only the wisdom that humans are never quite as simple as our anger wants them to be. We come now to a fourth kind of hurt. This one is the heaviest, the most difficult to approach. This is the person who has caused you deep harm and shown absolutely no remorse. No apology. No acknowledgement. No sign that they even understand what they did. Their cruelty seems complete, their heart entirely closed. Your anger at them feels like the only appropriate response. To let go of it would feel like betraying yourself, like saying what they did didn't matter. And yet, that anger is destroying you. It is not destroying them. They are not lying awake at night feeling your rage. They are not carrying its weight. You are. The fire you are feeding with your memories and your righteous indignation is burning only you. Imagine a woman who owns a beautiful mirror. It has been in her family for generations. One day, someone breaks into her home and, in an act of senseless cruelty, cracks the mirror right down the middle. The thief is never caught, never punished, never apologizes. The woman is left with a cracked mirror that no longer reflects clearly. She has a choice. She can spend the rest of her life standing in front of that cracked mirror, shaking her fist at the absent thief, rehearsing what she would say to him, imagining his punishment. She can let the crack become the center of her existence, the thing she thinks about when she wakes and the thing she sees before she sleeps. Or she can accept that the mirror is cracked. She can acknowledge that what happened was wrong, that she did not deserve it, that the thief got away with it. And then she can decide what to do next. Maybe she replaces the mirror. Maybe she keeps it as it is, learning to see beauty in its imperfection. Maybe she takes it to a skilled artisan who can incorporate the crack into something new, filling it with gold to create kintsugi, a new kind of art born from breakage. This is the fourth teaching. It is about what to do when you have been wronged by someone who will never make it right. When justice will not come. When apology will never arrive. When the other person remains forever indifferent to your pain. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger at such a person is like grasping a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at them. You are the one who gets burned. The other person may not even feel the heat. Your anger, as justified as it is, becomes its own punishment. This teaching is not about letting them off the hook. It is about taking yourself off the hook. It is about recognizing that your peace cannot depend on their change. If your freedom requires them to apologize, to understand, to feel remorse, then you have given them power over you forever. You have made them the gatekeeper of your peace. Think about someone who hurt you and walked away without a backward glance. A former friend who destroyed your reputation and then acted as if nothing happened. A boss who fired you unfairly and never looked back. A family member who abused your trust and then pretended you were the problem. Your mind screams for them to see what they did, to feel what you feel, to finally understand. But what if they never do? What if they die without ever acknowledging it? What then? Will you carry this coal until your own last breath? The practice here is profoundly difficult. It is to shift your focus from them to yourself. From demanding their change to accepting your reality. The mirror is cracked. That is the truth. The crack is there, and it is not your fault. But what you do with the cracked mirror is entirely your choice. You can stand there forever, pointing at the crack, explaining who caused it, waiting for someone to come and fix it. Or you can look at the mirror and ask a different question. What now? How do I live with this? How do I find beauty or meaning or peace even with this crack running through my life? This is not forgiveness in the traditional sense. It is not absolution. It is something more practical. It is the decision to stop waiting for a train that will never arrive. It is the acknowledgement that your life is happening now, not after they apologize. And that you are the only one who can live it. The woman with the cracked mirror eventually did something remarkable. She stopped staring at the crack. She began to look at the parts of the mirror that still reflected clearly. She saw her own face, still whole, still her. She saw the room around her, still full of light. The crack was there, yes. It would always be there. But it was no longer the only thing she saw. This is your freedom. The crack is real. The person who caused it may never acknowledge it. But you have a life to live on the other side of that crack. And the only person who can live it is you. We arrive now at the fifth kind of hurt. This one is different from all the others. In this situation, the person has not hurt you at all. In fact, they have been consistently kind. Their actions show care. Their words build you up. Their heart toward you is genuine and pure. They are the clear lake, the fertile field, the warm sun after a long winter. And yet, you cannot receive it. You stand at the edge of their kindness, dying of thirst, unable to drink. Something inside you refuses to accept what they are offering. And this refusal becomes its own kind of suffering. Imagine a traveler crossing a vast desert. For days, he has had no water. His lips are cracked, his throat dry, his strength nearly gone. He is close to death. Then, in the distance, he sees an oasis. Palm trees, shade, a pool of clear water. He stumbles toward it, hope rising in his chest. But when he reaches the edge of the water, he stops. He kneels down and looks at his reflection. He sees how dirty he is, how parched and broken. And he thinks, I am too filthy for this pure water. I will contaminate it. I don't deserve to drink here. So he sits at the edge, dying of thirst, while the water waits for him, clear and cool and available. This is the fifth teaching. It is about the inability to receive love, even when it is freely and genuinely offered. The barriers are not in the giver. They are in you. Unworthiness whispers that you don't deserve kindness. Suspicion wonders what they really want. Comparison measures their goodness against your flaws and finds you lacking. Fear of loss says that if you let yourself love them and they leave, you will be destroyed. These barriers are real in your mind. They feel like protection. But they are actually prisons. They keep you standing at the edge of the oasis, dying of thirst, while the water waits. Think about someone in your life who loves you well. A friend who has shown up for years, through every crisis, without judgment. A partner who sees your flaws and loves you anyway, who builds you up instead of tearing you down. A mentor who gives generously of their time and wisdom, asking nothing in return. What do you do with this love? Do you receive it fully? Or do you deflect? Do you say, "Oh, you don't have to do that," when they help you? Do you change the subject when they compliment you? Do you keep them at arm's length, never quite trusting that their care is real? Do you wait for the other shoe to drop, convinced that kindness this pure must eventually reveal its hidden cost? The Buddha taught that the ability to receive is as important as the ability to give. When you refuse genuine kindness, you are not protecting yourself. You are depriving yourself. You are rejecting the very thing that could nourish you. And in doing so, you are also wounding the one who offers. They feel your distance, your distrust, your refusal to let them in. The practice here is terrifyingly simple, and terrifyingly hard. It is to take off the armor. To let yourself be loved. To receive the compliment without deflecting. To accept the help without calculating how to pay it back. To trust, even for a moment, that this kindness might be real. This does not mean being naive. It does not mean abandoning discernment. Some kindness has strings attached. Some givers want something in return. But when you have tested the water and found it pure, when the kindness has been consistent and genuine, then the only thing keeping you from drinking is your own fear. The traveler at the oasis has a choice. He can die of thirst at the edge of the water, protected by his unworthiness. Or he can jump in. He can let the water wash away the dust of the desert. He can drink deeply and be restored. The water does not care how dirty he is. That is not how water works. Water cleanses. That is its nature. This is your freedom with the fifth kind of person. You are allowed to receive love. You are allowed to be cared for. You are allowed to rest in the kindness of another without earning it, without deserving it, without calculating the cost. The oasis is there. It has always been there. The only question is whether you will finally drink. Now we come to a sixth kind of hurt. This one is perhaps the most intimate of all. It is the hurt you cause yourself. Not through anything you did wrong, but through the story you tell yourself about what you should be feeling. You are angry at someone who hurt you. That anger is real and valid. But then a second layer arrives. You become angry at yourself for being angry. You tell yourself you should be over it by now. You should be stronger. You should not let them live in your head rent-free. This second layer of anger, the anger at your anger, is often more destructive than the original wound. It is like pouring salt on a cut and then cursing yourself for feeling the sting. Imagine a master calligrapher who has spent decades perfecting his art. One day, a young student comes to study with him. The student is eager but clumsy. His first attempt at a simple character is shaky, uneven, full of mistakes. The master looks at the student's work and says nothing. The student, expecting criticism, immediately begins to berate himself. I am terrible at this. I will never learn. I am wasting the master's time. What is wrong with me? The master watches this self-flagellation for a moment. Then he gently takes the brush from the student's hand. He dips it in ink and, in one fluid motion, paints the character perfectly on a fresh sheet of paper. He hands the brush back to the student. Now try again, he says. The student looks at the perfect stroke, then at his own failed attempt. Instead of trying, he falls deeper into self-criticism. I can't do it like you. I am hopeless. The master interrupts him. You are so focused on your failure that you cannot see what I am offering. The past stroke is gone. The future stroke is not yet born. There is only this moment, this brush, this paper. Now try again. This is the sixth teaching. It is about the suffering we create by judging our own emotional responses. Someone hurt you. That happened. Your anger arose in response. That is natural. That is human. That is not a mistake. It is a signal that something important was violated. But then the inner critic shows up. It tells you that you should not feel this way. That strong people would have moved on by now. That holding on to anger makes you weak or small. And so you add shame to your anger, and now you are carrying two burdens instead of one. The Buddha taught that all feelings are visitors. They come. They stay for a while. They leave. Anger is no different. It arises in response to a perceived threat or injustice. It has something to tell you. It says, pay attention. Something matters here. Something was wrong. Once you have received that message, the anger has done its job. It can begin to dissipate, like a wave receding from the shore. But when you judge the anger, when you tell yourself you shouldn't feel it, you grab onto the wave and try to hold it in place. You keep it alive long after its purpose is served. You are not angry anymore at the person who hurt you. You are angry at yourself for being angry. And that self-directed anger has no natural expiration. It can go on forever, feeding on itself, growing stronger with each self-critical thought. Think about how this shows up in your life. Something happens. Someone says something hurtful. You feel the sting. That is the first wave. Then, hours later, you are still thinking about it. But now your thoughts have shifted. Why am I still upset about this? It was such a small thing. I should be over it. What is wrong with me? The original slight has been replaced by self-flagellation. You are now the one hurting yourself, far more effectively than they ever could. The practice here is radical self-compassion. It is to allow yourself to feel whatever you feel without judgment. Anger arises. You notice it. You name it. Anger is here. That is all. You don't have to push it away. You don't have to hold on to it. You just let it be present, like a cloud passing through a vast sky. The master calligrapher knew that the student's self-criticism was the real obstacle. The imperfect stroke was just information. It showed where the student needed practice. But the self-hatred? That stopped the learning entirely. The student couldn't improve because he was too busy condemning himself for not already being perfect. This is your freedom with this sixth kind of hurt. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to feel anger, even anger that lingers longer than you think it should. You are allowed to heal at your own pace, in your own way. The only person keeping score of how long it should take is you. And you can stop keeping score anytime. When you notice the second layer of anger arising, pause. Take a breath. Say to yourself, I notice I am judging myself for feeling this. That is just another thought. I don't have to believe it. Then gently bring your attention back to your body, back to your breath, back to this present moment. The past stroke is gone. The future stroke is not yet born. There is only now. And in this now, you are exactly where you need to be. Let us now explore a seventh kind of hurt. This one is subtle, often invisible to others, but deeply painful to the one experiencing it. It is the hurt of being unseen, of having your true self invisible to someone who should know you. This is not about active cruelty. It is about passive absence. The person is there, physically present, but emotionally unavailable. They do not see you. They do not know you. They interact with a version of you that exists only in their mind. Imagine a gardener who tends a beautiful walled garden. Inside the walls, she grows roses and herbs, vegetables and fruit trees. It is her sanctuary, her life's work. She has a neighbor who lives next door. Every day, the neighbor looks over the wall and says, "What lovely roses you have." The gardener tries to tell him about the herbs, about the fruit trees, about the vegetables that feed her family. But the neighbor only sees the roses. He comments on the roses every single day. He never mentions anything else. Years pass. The gardener stops trying to show him the rest of the garden. She knows that when he looks over the wall, he will only see roses. He will never know the full garden. He will never know her. And she feels a quiet, persistent ache. Not anger at being attacked, but grief at being unseen. This is the seventh teaching. It is about the people in your life who love a version of you, but not the whole you. They see the parts that fit their expectations, their comfort, their needs. The rest of you remains invisible. And over time, being invisible to someone who claims to love you becomes its own kind of wound. Think about a parent who only sees your achievements. They celebrate your promotions, your grades, your accomplishments. But they have no idea who you are when you are not achieving. They do not know your fears, your dreams, your quiet struggles. You have stopped sharing because every time you tried, they redirected the conversation back to something measurable. The garden is full, but they only see the roses. Or consider a friend who only wants the fun version of you. The one who laughs, who goes out, who keeps things light. The moment you show sadness or struggle, they disappear. They are not cruel. They are simply unavailable for that part of the garden. And so you learn to hide it, to present only the roses, to keep the rest of yourself locked away. The pain of being unseen is cumulative. It does not arrive in one dramatic moment. It builds slowly, over years, as you realize that the person you love does not actually know you. They love an idea of you. They love the parts you show them. But the full garden remains invisible, and you remain alone in it. The Buddha taught that one of the deepest human needs is to be seen clearly and loved completely. When we are seen only partially, we feel a kind of hunger that food cannot satisfy. We long to be known. And when that longing is unmet, we often turn the disappointment inward. We wonder if something is wrong with us. We wonder why the parts of us that matter most are invisible to those who matter most. The practice here is twofold. First, you must tend your own garden. You must know it fully yourself. You must walk among the herbs and vegetables, the fruit trees and the flowers, and say, yes, this is who I am. All of it. The parts that bloom and the parts that are dormant. The parts one show and the parts one hide. Your own knowing of yourself is the foundation. If you do not know your own garden, you cannot blame others for missing it. Second, you must decide who gets access to more than the roses. Some people are only capable of seeing roses. That is their limitation, not your failing. You can stop expecting them to see the rest. You can release them from that expectation and release yourself from the disappointment that comes with it. And you can seek out the rare souls who want to walk through the entire garden, who ask about the herbs, who taste the vegetables, who rest beneath the fruit trees. Those people exist. They are the ones who will truly see you. The gardener in our story eventually stopped calling over the wall to her neighbor. She stopped expecting him to see what he could not see. Instead, she opened a gate on the other side of her garden and invited in those who were curious enough to enter. Her garden did not shrink. It grew. And the ache of being unseen began to heal, not because the neighbor finally noticed, but because she stopped waiting for him to. This is your freedom. You cannot make people see what they are not ready to see. But you can stop hiding the rest of your garden from yourself. And you can open your gate to those who are willing to walk through. We arrive now at an eighth kind of hurt. This one is about expectations. Not the expectations others have of you, but the expectations you had of them. You met someone and saw their potential. You saw the beautiful vessel they could become. You invested time, energy, hope in helping them become that vessel. And then they broke. They failed. They turned out to be someone other than who you believed they could be. And your anger at them is mixed with grief for the person you thought they were. Imagine a potter who finds a perfect lump of clay. It feels smooth in his hands, responsive to his touch. He envisions a magnificent vase, tall and elegant, fit for a king. He spends weeks shaping it, carefully smoothing every curve, attending to every detail. He pours his heart into this creation. Finally, he places it in the kiln and waits. When he opens the kiln, the vase has shattered. Pieces lie scattered on the floor. The potter stares at the wreckage. He feels rage rising. How could you do this to me? He shouts at the broken pieces. I gave you everything. I had such plans for you. Why did you fail me? The pieces say nothing. They are just clay. They shattered because of an air bubble the potter missed, because the clay was not suited for such an ambitious shape. The failure was not a betrayal. It was simply what happened. This is the eighth teaching. It is about the anger we feel when people do not become who we wanted them to be. A child who chooses a different path than the one we envisioned. A partner who cannot meet our emotional needs. A friend who turns out to be more limited than we believed. Our anger is not really about who they are. It is about the gap between who they are and the image we held of them in our minds. Think about someone who disappointed you deeply. Not through cruelty, but through limitation. They simply could not be what you needed. They did not have the capacity. Their emotional range was narrower than you hoped. Their loyalty had a limit you did not expect. Your anger at them is real. But beneath it is grief. Grief for the relationship you thought you had. Grief for the person you believed they were. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from clinging to expectations. We create an image in our minds of how things should be, how people should be. And then we suffer when reality does not match the image. The image was never real. It was a fantasy, a hope, a dream. The person in front of you is real. They always were. You just did not see them clearly because you were looking at your vision of them. The potter's rage at the shattered vase is misdirected. The vase did not betray him. It was always just clay. His vision was beautiful, but it was his vision, not the clay's promise. The clay simply was what it was. It had limitations he did not see. When those limitations revealed themselves, his vision shattered. But the clay did not shatter to hurt him. It shattered because that is what happens when you fire clay that is not ready. This is not about blaming yourself for hoping. Hope is beautiful. Vision is beautiful. The potter's dream of the magnificent vase was not wrong. It was just not aligned with the reality of the clay. The practice is to learn to see the clay before you begin shaping. To ask not only what you want to create, but what the clay is capable of becoming. In relationships, this means learning to see people clearly, as they are, not only as who you want them to be. It means asking honest questions. What is this person capable of giving? What are their limits? Where are their air bubbles, their hidden weaknesses? Seeing clearly does not mean you stop loving them. It means you love them as they are, not as you wish they were. And if who they are cannot meet your needs, you have a choice. You can adjust your expectations, or you can walk away. But you cannot keep holding the shattered pieces and cursing them for not being a vase. The potter in our story eventually swept up the pieces. He did not throw them away. He kept them in a box by his wheel. They reminded him to look more carefully at his clay before he began. They reminded him that his vision, as beautiful as it was not the only truth. And one day, he took the largest piece and used it as the base for a new creation, smaller, humbler, but real. It was not the vase he had dreamed. But it was something. And it was enough. This is your freedom. Grieve the person you hoped they would be. That grief is real and deserves space. Then see the person they actually are. From that clear seeing, you can decide what comes next. Not from anger at what they failed to become, but from acceptance of what they are. We come now to a ninth kind of hurt. This one is about rejection. Not the rejection of your ideas or your actions, but the rejection of you as a person. Someone you loved chose to leave. Someone you trusted chose someone else. Someone you opened your heart to chose to close theirs. And the pain of not being chosen cuts deeper than almost any other wound. Imagine a fisherman who goes out to sea every day. He has a favorite spot where the fish have always been plentiful. It is where his father fished, and his grandfather before him. He knows this water. He trusts it. One morning, he rows out to his spot, casts his net, and pulls it up. Empty. He casts again. Empty. He tries a different spot, then another. Nothing. All day, he catches nothing. As the sun sets, he sits in his boat, staring at the empty net, and feels a profound sense of personal failure. The sea has rejected him. He is not good enough. The fish have abandoned him. But the sea is not rejecting him. The fish are not conspiring against him. Conditions have simply changed. An underwater current has shifted. The temperature of the water is different. The fish have moved on to where conditions are better for them. It is not personal. It is not a judgment. It is just the way of the sea. This is the ninth teaching. It is about learning to distinguish between personal rejection and changing conditions. When someone leaves you, when they choose someone else, when they close the door on your relationship, it feels deeply personal. It feels like a verdict on your worth. If I were more valuable, they would have stayed. If I were more lovable, they would have chosen me. These are the stories we tell ourselves in the empty boat. But what if their leaving had little to do with you? What if they left because of their own currents, their own needs, their own internal shifts that you could never fully know? What if they were not rejecting you, but simply following the conditions that made sense for their own survival and growth? Think about a romantic partner who ended the relationship. You have replayed every moment, searching for what you did wrong, what you could have done differently. You have taken their leaving as evidence that you are not enough. But consider this. Maybe they left because they were not capable of the intimacy you offered. Maybe they left because their own unhealed wounds made staying too painful. Maybe they left because the current of their life was simply pulling them in a different direction, and staying would have meant swimming against a force they could not resist. The fisherman's empty net feels like failure because he has attached his identity to the catch. I am a fisherman who catches fish. If I catch no fish, I am no fisherman. But the sea does not define him. The fish do not define him. He is a man in a boat, doing his best with conditions he cannot control. The empty net is information. It tells him that conditions have changed. It does not tell him that he is worthless. The Buddha taught that attachment is the source of suffering. We attach to outcomes, to people, to identities. We believe that if this person stays, we are valuable. If they leave, we are worthless. But this is a confusion of categories. Your worth is not determined by who stays or who goes. Your worth is inherent. It was there before they arrived. It will be there after they leave. Their leaving does not diminish it any more than their arrival created it. The practice here is to sit in the empty boat without filling it with stories of personal failure. To look at the empty net and say, conditions have changed. That is all. I do not know why they changed. I do not know what the fish are doing. But I know that I am still here, in my boat, under this sky. And tomorrow, I will row out again and see what the sea offers. This does not mean you do not grieve. The fisherman can grieve the empty net. He can miss the days when the fish were plentiful. Grief is natural. Grief is love with nowhere to go. But grief is different from self-condemnation. Grief says, I miss what was. Self-condemnation says, I am not enough. The person who left may never explain themselves fully. You may never know all the currents that pulled them away. But you can stop interpreting their departure as a statement about your worth. You can let them go, not because you are strong, but because holding on to a verdict they never actually delivered is exhausting you. The fisherman in our story eventually learned to read the sea differently. He stopped taking the empty net personally. He studied the currents, the temperature, the behavior of birds. He learned that the fish moved in cycles, and that empty days were part of the cycle, not a rejection of him. He still felt disappointment when the net came up empty. But he no longer felt destroyed. He was still a fisherman. He was still in his boat. He was still part of the vast, mysterious sea. This is your freedom. You are still you. Still whole. Still worthy. The net is empty today. That is all. It is not a verdict. It is not a rejection. It is just information. And tomorrow, the sea may offer something new. We have traveled far together tonight. 9 stories, 9 teachings, 9 ways of seeing the hurts that have bound you. You have met the stonecutter and the mountain, learned to distinguish the rope from the water in the well, knelt beside the single seed in the barren field. You have sat with the cracked mirror, stood at the edge of the oasis, watched the calligrapher's patient hand. You have walked through the walled garden, held the shattered pieces of the potter's vase, and sat in the empty boat as the sun set over the sea. Now we come to the final teaching. It is not a new story. It is a remembering. A gathering of all that has come before. Imagine a weaver who has spent her life creating tapestries. Each thread she uses comes from somewhere. Some threads were gifts. Some were found. Some were pulled from garments that were torn and discarded. Some were given to her by people who later hurt her. Some came from moments of great joy, others from moments of deep sorrow. Her tapestry contains all of it. For years, she focused on the ugly threads. The ones that came from pain. She would sit and stare at them, remembering who gave them, how they came to her, what they cost her. She would feel the old anger rise, the old grief return. The tapestry grew, but her attention remained fixed on those few dark strands. Then one day, a wise woman passed through the village and saw the weaver at her loom. She watched for a long time. Finally, she spoke. "You have been staring at those same threads for years," she said. "They have not changed. They will not change. But look at all the others. Look at the gold from the friend who stayed. Look at the blue from the morning you felt peace. Look at the green from the growth that came after loss. Your tapestry is not those few dark threads. Your tapestry is everything." This is the final teaching. It is about the whole tapestry. The person who hurt you is one thread. One thread only. But your anger has made them the entire weaving. You have pulled that single thread so close to your eyes that you cannot see anything else. You cannot see the other people who love you. You cannot see your own strength, your own growth, your own beauty. You cannot see the vast and complex weaving of a life that contains so much more than this one hurt. The Buddha's final instruction to his disciples was this: be a light unto yourselves. Do not depend on others for your liberation. The key was always in your hand. The cage was never locked. You have been sitting in an open door, convinced you were trapped. Tonight, you have received 9 keys. 9 ways of shifting your attention. 9 practices for transforming suffering. They are not theories. They are tools. And they work not by changing the past, but by changing your relationship to it. The person who hurt you may never change. The apology may never come. The justice may never arrive. But you can still be free. Not because they deserve your freedom, but because you deserve your freedom. The weaver in our story eventually did something remarkable. She kept weaving. She did not pull out the dark threads. They were part of the tapestry now, part of the story. But she stopped staring at them. Her eyes moved across the whole weaving. She saw the patterns emerge, the way light and dark together created depth and meaning. The dark threads were still there. They always would be. But they were no longer the only thing she saw. This is your peace. Not a life without dark threads. Not a heart without scars. But a vision wide enough to see the whole tapestry. A heart open enough to receive the gold and the blue and the green, even while the dark threads remain. As you rest tonight, let the stories settle. You are the stonecutter who stopped bleeding on the mountain. You are the traveler who finally drank from the oasis. You are the weaver who lifted her eyes and saw the full beauty of her own creation. The anger that brought you here has served its purpose. It got your attention. It showed you where you were hurting. It led you to this moment. Now it can begin to release its grip, because you have new ways of seeing. The teachings are complete. The path is open. Your liberation begins now. Thank you for walking this path with Monk's Moon Temple. May you be peaceful. May you be free. May you be kind to yourself, always.